Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to start our first day of systems applications. The key to remember here is you're going to have two equations. So looking at your problem when you read through it, you want to make sure that you figure out what two things you're selling and what two big pieces of information you're given. So let's get started. Stefan and Bill teamed up to sell cookie dough for a school fundraiser. We have packages of white chocolate chip cookie dough that sells for $4 each and packages of gingerbread cookie dough that sells for $5 each. If they sold 35 boxes for a total of $158, how much of each did they sell? So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what are we selling? Well, we have white chocolate chip cookie dough. So that's what I'm going to put for X. White chocolate chip. The other kind that we have is gingerbread cookie dough. So that's going to be my Y. Okay, so I have my X and I have my Y. Now, thinking about the information given, one of the things I talk about is the number of boxes. So my equation 1 is going to be talking about the boxes. The other information I'm given is money. So my equation number 2 is going to be about the money. So looking at the number of boxes, I know that if I take all of my white chocolate chip cookie dough and add it to all of my gingerbread cookie dough, I'm going to have a total number of 35 boxes. So that is my first equation. Thinking about all of the money, I know that white chocolate chip sells for 4 and gingerbread sells for 5. So if white chocolate chip is X, I have $4 for each box of my white chocolate chip. And so plus, I have $5 for each box of my gingerbread. And that is equal to my total dollars sold of 158. So now when I'm going through doing this, I need to get something to cancel. I'm going to rewrite equation 1 above equation 2. So I have X plus Y equals 35. If I need to get something to cancel out of my top equation, you see how I have a 4x on the bottom? I'm going to multiply the top equation by the opposite, so negative 4. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times y is a negative 4y, and that's equal to negative 4 times 35. Well, negative 4 times 35 is a negative 140. Now you can see that I have exact opposites and my x's cancel out. What is 5y's plus a negative 4y? Great job, I just have a single y left. And what is 158 plus a negative 140? 18, good job. So the number of gingerbread boxes that I have is 18. The reason I know it's gingerbread is because I say it's Y, and Y is gingerbread. So now I need to go back and figure out how many boxes of white chocolate chip I have. So going back, I don't know what X is, but I do know that I have 18 gingerbread boxes. So I substituted 18 in for Y, and now I solve. Minus 18 to both sides. And when I do that, I find out that I have 17 white chocolate chip boxes. Okay, let's try another one. Let's look at example number 2. Example number 2 is talking about Jill's school having a wrapping paper fundraiser. So again, similar setup. We have plain wrapping paper costs $13. Holiday wrapping paper costs $20. Jill sold $25 rolls of wrapping paper for a total of $444. We want to know how much of each type did she sell. So first ask yourself, what two items are we talking about? Good, we're talking about plain wrapping paper and we're talking about holiday wrapping paper. Okay, now that we established what we're talking about, what two pieces of information are we given? Okay, so it looks like we're talking about the number of rolls. So we're going to say number of rolls. And the other piece we're talking about is the money. So the money. So looking at the number of rolls, we have 25 total rolls sold. So if we take all of the X's, all the plain, and add it to all of the Y's, all the holiday, how many total rolls did we sell? 25. Good job. And now if we think about the money, we know that plain paper costs 13. So plain is X. So we have 13X. We know that holiday paper costs 20. So holiday is Y. So plus 20Y. The final piece that we know is that the dollars is $444. So 444. Notice all of that information in my second equation had dollar signs in the original equation. So now I need to get something to cancel out. So again, I'm going to take equation 1 and write it directly above equation 2 so I can easily figure out what to multiply by. I think this time I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of y's first. So because I have a positive y on the bottom, I'm going to multiply the top equation by the opposite. So negative 20 times x is negative 20x. What's negative 20 times y? Good. Negative 20y is equal to. And finally, what's negative 20 times 25? Good. It's negative 500. So now I get to stack and add, and my y's get eliminated. Finally, what is 13x's minus 20x's? Good, it's negative 7x. And what is 444 plus a negative 500? Awesome, negative 56. Carefully watch your signs here. Final step, divide them both by negative 7, and I find out that x is equal to, great, 8. And x is talking about plain paper rolls, so it's 8 for the number of plain paper rolls. If you ever end up with a negative here, go back and double check your work to make sure you didn't miss a negative somewhere in your problem. Great, so now I have how many plain paper rolls there are. So I need to substitute that in now to figure out how many holiday paper rolls there are. So I know that x is 8, so I took my x out of the equation and I put an 8 in its place. So now how do I move that 8 to the other side? Yes, I minus 8 to both sides. So I get y is equal to, what's 25 minus 8? Great job, 17. So there's 17 holiday paper rolls. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to write in the equations for number 3. If you would like to go through and work this problem out, definitely feel free to. So hit pause now. Hey, welcome back. You can go ahead and check your work. Now, pay close attention. It's asking for the number of child tickets sold, so make sure that you're answering the question that it's asking for. Let's go on to our final problem. This is a graph problem. So in this situation, we're given a graph, and we need to use that graph to determine the answers to the problems. So Sally's trying to figure out which cell phone company she wants to choose for her home. AT&T Uverse has unlimited minute plans that cost $100 to set up and $50 per month. Comcast has an unlimited minutes plan that costs $25 per month and $200 to set up. Please make sure that on your notes it says $200 to set up for Comcast. So now we have this information. We graph the lines for you, and it's in my graph. So letter A is saying, put the company name on the correct line. So the way I do this is I think about, what is a setup plan? All right, so what am I setting up? Well, I know that AT&T costs $100 to set up. So this line on the bottom, AT&T, starts at 100. I also know that Comcast starts at 200, so the line on top starts at 200. On this graph, it tells us the total cost is on the left and the number of months that go by is on the right. Okay, so I labeled my graphs with the correct company names. Now, based on my graph, I can answer the rest of these questions. So the first question is saying, when do both companies cost the same? So both companies cost the same where my two lines intersect. It's asking when, so when is talking about the time. So what is the y value where it intersects? At 4. So at 4 months is when both costs the exact same. Now, if Sally's planning on only having a phone service for summer vacation, which is 2 months long, we want to know what company she should choose. So I'm going to go over to the 2 months. Here's my 2-month line. I'm going to draw a line straight up. And we see that it hits here and here. So we want to know which company should she choose. Well, if you look at AT&T costs, okay, so it intersects this black line right here at the 200. So AT&T costs $200. And now looking at the 2, okay, so it intersects here. What's halfway between 2 and 300? Oh yeah, that's 250. So AT&T costs 200 and Comcast would cost $250. So who is the better deal? AT&T is the better deal. And how much did they save? Well, 250 minus 200, it would give us a savings of $50. Letter C is saying, okay, so she's going to keep this phone service plan for 12 months. Now, which company should she choose? So again, I'm going to go over to my 12 and I'm going to draw my line up, and I see that it hits this line and this line. Why do you suppose we had you label it? Exactly, so you know what line goes to which. So this line with the green, the first dot, you can see that it's the Comcast line. So where does that line up? All right, so Comcast costs $500. So Comcast is 500. Now let's see what AT&T does. So AT&T is this bottom line. Where does that line up? Ooh, at $700. So AT&T costs $700. So now who's the better option? Comcast is the better option. Exactly. You want to go with Comcast. And how much money would she save by going with Comcast? She would save 700 minus 500. So how much money is that? A whopping $200 is what she would save by really thinking about the long-term plan. So my final question is, Sally only budgeted $500 to spend on a phone service company. So which one would be her highest, or would be the highest number of months of service? So if she only has $500 to spend total, here's the 500 line. We want to know which one gives the most amount of months. So we can see that AT&T only gives her 8 months, but Comcast gives her 12 months. So which company would she get the most bang for her buck? She would get the most bang for her buck out of Comcast, because she would have 12 months of service. And that is how you go through and read the graph. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to see your teacher. Otherwise, go ahead and work on your classwork. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.